Hello everyone and welcome to Don't Be Bored. Today I'm going to be going through my Essen Spiel long list. So there's like 1,200 games at the show. I've condensed that down to around 50 that's on my sort of short list to look at and play. Across this list you'll see a lot of two-player games, games that are normally a little shorter on playtime and aren't the super crunchiest games, but do have those quirky different things that make them fun. So let's jump into this list, and I'm going to be utilising the Board Game Geek listing. I put it in publisher order, so when I'm talking about them they're sort of grouped together if there are more than one. But Two Tomato Games is going to be showing off at location 5F525 Paddy. Now the theming is what grabbed me on this, and then the mechanisms made me sort of stay around. So this is a rather sort of stunning looking rice paddy building game as you are utilizing these different shaped blocks to actually like build up the hill. I mean, it just looks really quite nice. I like tile placement, so I'm certainly interested by this one. And it's all about like you place one of the paddies down, then you move one of the animal tokens, potentially there's some waterfalls, and that's all adding up to be some interesting things that you're doing, and also a nice looking game as well. Next we have at All Play. Now they have a number of cool looking games, but I had to narrow the list down somehow, so my pick for them and their location is 5L415 Ruins. What is it about Ruins that grabs me? Well, I think it's one thing and one thing only, and that is the translucent cards. So you're effectively building these cards with different attributes and borders and such from these translucent bits. That alone just sounds pretty awesome to me, that you are layering these things up and, you know, you're adding elements to cards. I love canvas where you do this, and this looks like you're maybe utilizing it a bit more in a game sense than an art sense. And that alone, that sort of concept of building up your own cards, I think that's really cool, so I want to check Ruins out. Arcane Wonders are going to be showing off at location 2E300 raas, a Dance of Love. Now, to be honest, this is a dice and tableau sort of light game, and I'm not going to lie, initially I didn't think too much of it. What's made me interested in seeing more is the fact that this is going to be a dice tower essential. And if we zoom in, I'm not going to lie, normally dice wouldn't be my thing, and it looks like that's a lot of what is going on here, and you are turning these and making everything turn as if there's, you know, the dancers' dresses going out and flowing. I really like the concept of the gears. I probably wouldn't be as interested in it if it wasn't for that Dice Tower Essentials sort of stamp of approval. It just made me interested in checking this one out more, and that is Race, a Dance of Love. Ours edition at location 5J625 is going to be showing off. Now this does say it's German edition, but from my understanding it looks like there's multi-language rules, but I might be wrong on that one. But Oshiri Tokai effectively is a Reiner-Knizia, a card game, all about shoving as many people into the train as possible. So it's these people that are in like Tokyo that are hired to effectively cram as many people into a train as possible. It's a very quirky idea for a game to be based on that, but Reiner-Knizia often manages to pull some interesting stuff out of a bag when it comes to small card games. So I'm intrigued because of the designer. Awakened Realms at location 3K415 are going to be showing off Dragon Eclipse Mystling Academy. Now, I'm not going to lie, the original Dragon Eclipse is not something I have played, but this being a standalone two-player game that plays in 30 minutes is focused on those sort of one-on-one duels. That's certainly something that I can get behind and get a little bit more interested in. It doesn't help that the packaging looks really cool, and it's got some little minis in there, and it's maybe a way of me seeing how much I'd like Dragon Eclipse as a sort of bigger thing. Unfortunately, there's no more pictures than this. But it looks quite quirky. It's got sort of that one-on-one duel, and I'm down to play that sort of game. Brightwing are going to be at location 5J525, and they're going to be showing off Gazebo. Now, they've got a number of these small games that are almost on cloths, and this is the one that just sort of grabs me the most. So it does have that sort of very squareness to it, so you're looking at sort of just almost dominoes with 2 colours on each, but it's how you're utilising these colours and then able to, you know, place next to other things to put down these gazebos, and almost, from my understanding, it looks like you're trying to get as many of your gazebos out onto the board. I like the fact that they seem to stack up, and it looks quite small, portable, fast from just the look of the game, and it's for 2 to 4 players in 30 minutes. That seems pretty awesome. Now, this is an interesting one because I think it's also technically by Pegasus Spiel, based on the box, but Deep Print Games are going to be at location 3B300, showing off Rival Cities. This is it's not exactly a heavy game, but it's definitely, you know, a strong middleweight game for, again, 2 players. In this, you are 2, surprisingly, rival cities, and you're effectively trying to like grow up bigger than sort of the other nearby city. I kind of like the idea of this. It's got a lot, I think, visually going on, which I don't think it helps the game. You know, it's got cards all the way around. It's got different tracks that you're looking at. It's got that central push and pull that you're trying to effectively, you know, pull it towards your city, because that, you know, you're trying to get ahead of your rival. There's a lot going on for sure, but just looking at it. But I think, you know, sometimes you want a slightly meatier 2-player game. Something maybe a bit like Watergate. That sort of This is the feeling I'm getting. That maybe it's because of that central push-pull tug of war that's going on in the middle of the board. I'm just a bit concerned there's a lot visually going on, that it might be slightly annoying to teach so many elements. But I want to see it and maybe even play it at the event. Next up, we have a few from DV Games. They are at location 3J400. They often have a lot of similar style games, so I'm just going to open 3 of them straight away because they kind of go together. So Deckscape is a fantastic little sort of adventure escape room style thing. I've enjoyed their ones in the past. They're normally like 10 to 15 euros, pounds to pick up, and it's basically like a small double deck of card size box that you're going to work through and get a little of adventure out. The Deckscape ones, normally you can't fail, but you can get a sort of bad, a good or bad score from how you play it. So escape rooms, always like them. That's Deckscape Dungeon. Jumping into the next one, Lost in Adventure, Curse of Jack Parrot. You said pirate. Again, it's one of those other ones that this is more, slightly less escape room in a box and a little bit more adventure in a box, but it's still very linear. You're still going through like a deck of cards, trying to use them to get progress. It's another one that looks really cool, and for that matter, until proven guilty, I reviewed the original on the channel and enjoyed that one, so I'm excited to sort of see they are coming out with a sequel for that. That one played again with the same sort of 1 to 6 player count, and we played it with 4 and had a good time. They are, however, also showing off Koi. Now this looks incredible. This looks very much akin to, they did one a couple of years ago now, maybe last year, which was Bonsai, where it was a tree growing up, a bonsai tree. But this one is Koi, and it's all about this pond. So you're growing it out, you're putting stuff around the edge. I really liked that aspect in Tang Garden. But you're also then putting these flowers, lilies, fish, stepping stones, and more. You get like little shrines and different things. and it just looks stunning. So it's got this card play that it kind of looks similar to bonsai, the way you're taking a card to like put 2 tiles down to enlarge, or to either put fish or a shrine or something down by effectively selecting that card. And I just think it looks really nice, and I kind of want to add this one to the collection. Emperor S4 are going to be at 4J325, and they've got a couple of interesting looking games. Torii, it's the first one. This is a 2-player game, another one relatively light, and you're sort of effectively doing an abstract strategy game over these Torii gates in the middle. So you're sort of, from the looks of things, trying to get your ones actually just onto this, not battlefield, but these fields. I just think it looks really cool. Clearly here a slightly prototyped version, although it does look like maybe a neoprene mat. So, you know, that's quite quite nice. And it looks like it's got this interesting 1, 2, 3 thing where, you know, you got maybe these for the round, and you're utilizing at what time do I need to use the 3, use it as my strongest action. I mean, compared like with most games, the components look really nice. It's got dual layer board and everything. I definitely want to try this one. I want to try Torii while I'm in Spiel. They're also going to be showing off Walking in Osaka, which I'm assuming is a little ish like Walking in Burano, or wherever it was they did the previous one, though it doesn't seem to sort of suggest that from the listing. You're drafting town cards. There's not too much of it, but we can kind of see here that you're drafting these cards. They're going to trigger different things, and you're trying to do that to have the best place to walk through. Unfortunately, there's not many other pictures, so this is maybe one I just want to see at the show and learn a little bit more about. Freulenspiel is going to be at location 3Q300, and they are showing off Sanctuary. This is going to be available in English and German, and this is effectively Arc Nova Light. I've done some videos about this already on the channel. It is an Arc Nova game, and you are effectively going to be utilising tiles and one fewer action than in Arc Nova. So a much lighter, shorter experience, but you've still got the good stuff. You've still got tags, you've still got things triggering off points in different ways. You've got the numbering system. So if we zoom in here, you can see down the middle, the market has that thing where, depending on what strength you're taking in action, you can take one of the tiles. And then at the very bottom, you can just about see you've got different things. So are you playing a project, playing an animal? Are you playing an animal into a forest area or a water area? So it seems like they have streamlined it because it's a much shorter, smaller game, but it's still got like some placement benefits and stuff. It's not necessarily had the best reviews, but I still am interested in checking Sanctuary out. Flat Out Games is going to be at location 5A700, and they're going to be showing off the brand new version of Cascadia, Alpine Lakes. Now, this is a really interesting one because unlike, and we can see from this image here, unlike the original Cascadia, yes, you are in some cases putting tiles upon other tiles rather than just discs on top of tiles. So depending on where you're putting them, you're trying to build up, I believe, around like these lakes and stuff like that. Depending on how you've built up around lakes is now one of the scoring conditions. I've really enjoyed Cascadia over the years since it's been released, and it's a slightly different version. Whether it's going to be different enough, I don't know, but that's why I want to play it at Spiel. Flat Out Games is going to have a booth, and that is going to be at 3P200, where they're going to be showing off numerous cool looking games, but Squirrel Away is a really interesting one. This is quite a light game for them. It's all about party sort of bluffing style games for 3 to 6 players, but just wait until you see these components. Let's zoom in. So this is them playing the game here, but look at these. These are, you know, the probably the biggest shiny sort of component I've ever seen. Like we've seen in Century Golem Edition and those style games, those little crystal gems that are colourful, but they're full like squirrel acorns that they're going to squirrel away. Yeah, it seems quite cool. It seems like one that it will click with your group or not. But one that seems like the demo would be really quick and potentially fun, so I'd want to try it. That is Squirrel Away. Gate On Games is going to be at location 5J700, and there's quite a few of their games that I'm interested in particular because, let's look at this one first, Mini Crimes is actually an entire series of mini crimes. I've just put this one on my list, but I think they've got at least like 5 or 6 different versions of this one ready to show off. I've never tried the Mini Crimes series, but they are those cooperative deduction sort of escape room adventure style things that you play through with a group in 30 minutes. I think that's cool. I don't always have like an hour or an hour and a half for some of these other escape room or adventure boxes, so 30 minutes that will slot into a weekday night where me and my wife just want to play a little something, and it's also they're quite small, which means I can buy a couple of them and have them nicely tucked into my bag when travelling home. So I'm excited to give a new sort of escape roomy-ish series a go, so I'll probably pick up a couple of the mini crimes. But the other game that they're going to be showing off is Foxy Travel. Now, this is an interesting one because it's obviously a travel version of a game they've done before, which I always think that's a kind of a good sign. The game's good enough for them to do a sort of smaller box version. 10 minutes, 2 to 4 players, and it's all about observation. Now, to be honest, I'm thinking of this not so much as to play normally, but something that I could maybe in a year or so start introducing to my son. Now, it does say 8+, but I think I could introduce it to him quite a lot younger than that, working with him, because it's compact memory and observation game. So it's all about, you look at cards and see different animals. Let's have a look at a picture. So you go through, you see a card, you try and remember how many of a certain animal you've seen, and then you unveil and hopefully you've got it right or not gone over the amount. I like that because it's a sort of a memory test that I could see myself playing with my son maybe in a year's time. He's still a little young for it, but it's one of those games that I think we could adapt and play it with him. Goliath Games is going to be at Lucky Duck Games' stand, so that is location 5J715, and they're going to be showing off a game that, well, I'm still surprised it actually exists, and that is Sims the board game. I don't understand how it's got any ratings yet, because I have no idea how anyone's actually played it. I don't even want to necessarily go and play this game, but I just want to see what it really looks like, because the pictures just... it's intriguing. Like, you've got the classic Sims like markers of the different locations. You've got some sort of objects and different things that they're buying. You've got like locations around the map, their needs. I mean, it looks like it's capturing a lot of the bits of the Sims. And I'm intrigued. I have no idea if this is going to be absolute brilliance or absolutely something you should stay away from, but I want to have a look, and that's what a convention is for. Good Games Publishing is going to be at location 4G315, and they're showing off a number of cool games. The one that I'm most intrigued by of theirs that is going to be there is this one, 12 Rivers. I'm just going to show you this picture, and you are potentially, wow, that's really zoomed in, you could potentially will be as excited as I am straight away, or be like, and? Right, let's zoom out a little bit. Let's see if we can get to that picture. There we go. Come on. There we go. This is a perfect picture, I think, to illustrate what's going on. Is you've got these sort of drop bits at the top, and you are slowly sort of putting or taking out these pieces to let the marbles go down the marble run. I just really like this idea. Again, I don't know much more about the gameplay other than it looks, you know, almost potion-y, that you're trying to get maybe different ingredients or something. But it's unique. You can't say it, you can't say it's not. Oh, look at this picture. I mean, it shows it like with all the marbles at the top, and you're putting the these bits to start and stop the marbles. Very unique, and therefore something I want to try. Grail Games is going to be at location 3F120, Small Fjords. So they've got a number of these smaller games coming out, but Fjords is a game that I was sort of interested in, and if we just have a look at the rating of that one, the original was a 7 out of 10 for Board Game Geek. That's a pretty decent rating, and this is a sort of smaller version of it where you are going to be creating some kind of map. Let's see if we can see it. There we go. You're creating some kind of map and putting things onto it in and around the fjords. I like the idea of this. A small box version is something I'm always interested in when it comes to these games, because they're easier to put on the shelf, they're easier to transport, get home from a convention. Sometimes they lose a little bit of their edge. The production's not quite as cool because they don't have as much size. There's not as much detail on the map and all that sort of stuff. But I'm at least interested to see a little bit more about this game. Grand Gamers Guild has done a number of these sort of little escape room adventure style games where there's very few cards. They're going to be at 3E400. I have played a couple of their escape rooms that have very few cards. So therefore there's not really going to be many pictures of this because there's actually only 18 cards in this escape room, but it's a really interesting way because like you end up using like the same cards for multiple puzzles. It's a really interesting system, and often they are tiny little boxes, so again one that will keep you entertained for longer than you expect. You'd think an escape room with only 18 cards will zoom through that. But I really did find when I've done some previously that it's like, oh, I'm utilising this card again. Oh, but the puzzle's changed because now, you know, maybe the symbols that you used the first time round, you've now learnt a new combination or new values for those symbols. So now the calculation is different or whatever. An interesting one. And intrigued how they've done this one, and a cool little theme with a little lemur frog. Harbour is going to be showing off at 6F301, Point of View 1 Session. So this is a co-op game where, well, as the name suggests, everyone's got a little bit of a point of view. So I don't know necessarily, from what I can say, it seems like it is very much one session. So you play it, you're done with it. But everyone can see something a bit different. So everyone is seeing the sort of happenings from a different perspective, and obviously therefore you need to communicate. So you're seeing this sort of club from the looks of things from this view, but maybe I can't see what's actually happening behind that pole, or oh, that person, I can kind of see what they're doing, but can you see what they're looking at? That sort of thing. I just like the idea of this, and well, there's quite a few of these style games on the list because I just enjoy them when you are sort of doing these co-op puzzles, these escape rooms, and this is a brand new one that I'd want to give a go. Heidelberg are going to be at 6B200, and they're going to be showing off many cards games as they do. I'd really recommend, if you've not played it, Spicy or Sweet and Spicy. They're card games, both fantastic little sort of bluffing but sort of like card games, but this one is Umami, and it's all about sort of set collecting and a bit of an open draft. So I don't know if we can get the English ones on the back. Yes, here we go. So you're going to be trying to sort of do the best combination of like 3 ingredients. You can sometimes like nick a card, borrow it off a rival's plate, that sort of stuff, and you're trying to get these star ratings for your umami food. It's an interesting sort of arts that's gone alongside this, with from what I can guess, maybe like customers with their orders of a green, red card that you're trying to sort of complete. I just want to give this one a go because I normally find their little card games very enjoyable, so would like to try their new one. That's Umami. Hobby World is going to be at 5G400 and they're going to be showing off Paradox Island. This is a really intriguing one. I spoke about this on my Gen Con video and I didn't go to that, so I'm going to hopefully try it at Spiel or at least get to see it a little bit more. This is an interesting one because basically someone is trying to escape the island, but they can't see the island. Someone else is looking at the island behind this screen and is trying to basically work with them cooperatively to get them off the island. I don't think there's been a cooperative game about trying to get off islands with hidden, effectively almost like kind of hidden movement because you can't see where you're moving. So it's like almost like a reverse hidden movement because you are working together and trying to get information. I don't know. It looks interesting. It looks very different. You know, as you are trying to deduce things, get bits of information, understanding about what the map might look like as you're trying to escape this island. And yeah, you've got like this whiteboard, sort of rubbable whiteboard thing where you're noting down information as you learn it and trying to build out an understanding of what the island you're escaping from looks like. Very different. That is Paradox Island from Hobby World. Yellow are going to be at location 6F200. Just a quick one. They've got an interesting crossover because there is a Mindbug King of Tokyo, but they're doing like a King of Tokyo expansion with Mindbug. It seems like a very small expansion for it. The one I'm really excited from them though is Little Soldiers. This is like almost like the Toy Story Green Soldiers come to life as a board game. Basically, they've all got like slightly different powers, so you are playing with these different plastic soldiers, but you've not got a board, you've got just whatever is on your dining room table or your floor or wherever you're playing. So like the back of the box here is a prime example. This person here, it looks like he's basically like the grenadier, so they're going to be throwing a grenade, and clearly they can only throw it within the range of like the red piece of string that's in the box. So maybe you have to work out, can you get it round or over the cup of coffee that you've got on the table, the game box, a phone? All of these other things are potentially obstacles to shoot around, to climb up, and more. And then you've got dice to roll to see if you're dropping the grenade on your foot. If you are hitting, you know, you're in range, but did you miss? It just seems really cool that you can turn anywhere into a battlefield. And yeah, wow, just a quirky game. I had a glimpse of this last year, and ever since I have just wanted to know more, and it looks cool and I really want to get this one. Itten always come with some quirky games. They're going to be at 6C300 and they're going to be showing off their whole range, but Four Corner Detective is the one that interests me. So unfortunately this is all the pictures we have, but it kind of shows you what you're looking for. You're going to be trying to get some numbers, but let me read this because this is where it gets quirky. You guess the 4-digit number with your fingertips. So it's a new tactile game in which you examine the cards not by sight but with touch to decipher 4 digits. That is very unique. Like I said, Itten comes with some quirkiness, some new ideas, and not all of them are good. Some of them are just different. But I'm excited to just give this different one a go. Jelly Games is going to be at 5M525, and they are showing off this trick-taking game with a hell of a difference. So this is the slasher. So you are effectively in this trying to win tricks as the two players, as you're effectively going up against the game. I don't think I've seen a trick-taking game ever do something like this. But like the players have the play phases, you've got items that you can pick up and use, you've got health that you're tracking, you've got locations. It's giving me sort of like trick-taking meets Final Girl smushed together. Like you're getting items, you're going into locations. Yeah, it's an interesting game with trick-taking, a mechanic I do enjoy, sort of in the middle of it. So I've got to try it, right? Joy Hunter Games is going to be on the Play T location, the booth, at 6D310. So this is a little Korean game where you are making the Hanbok costumes. So you're doing set collection. So you're if we look at a picture here, effectively it seems like you're set collecting the different cards to get different, like the materials to make the Hanbok outfits. It's seemingly very visually bold. I like the vibrant colors. It's an interesting, different theme. So that here's the cards that you're maybe like collecting to then trade in, is my understanding, for the different styles of dress. If you see here, they've got like different shapes in the corners. So for instance, this looks a bit like a spade symbol from a normal card. This almost looks like a ghost. I'm assuming this one's more of a circle. I'm assuming those matter for endgame scorings. It's just a small card game that is potentially one to check out. I certainly will be. Korea Board Games is going to be at 5A315, and I kind of enjoyed my plays of Coffee Rush in the past. This one is Coffee Rush Grab and Go. So it's got the same sort of logics, that you've got these ingredients and then you've also got the recipes. Let's see if we can zoom in. So you've still got the recipes, but you've then got this pile of ingredients in the middle, and you are trying to very frantically, with one hand, not both, grab an ingredient and then put it in one of your cups, effectively, to make the different things. And I think it's like the first person to do 5 ends the game, and then you're scoring it up. It seems like the Coffee Rush sort of logic of grab the ingredients, put them in the right cups, score them hopefully, but as like a really fast, frantic game. I like the fast, frantic, buildy part of, say, Galaxy Trucker, and this feels like that part of that game, just as a whole experience. So worth probably like a 10-minute demo. Luterpielt, I've butchered the pronunciation of that, I am sure. They're going to be at 3P400, and I'm going to show you both of these games at the same time, again butchering their names. So Kyushu and Shinkoku. I will have butchered the name there. But basically, both of these are Honshu style games. The pronunciation's not my strong point. But it's a card game where you're taking cards and overlapping them. And depending on if you overlap or put the right places down, you get these cubes, and both of them do something slightly different. So one of them adds springs, I think that's this one, whereas this other one adds temples, is it? Maybe. One of them adds, they both are very similar games, but one of them, they seem to have a little like almost expansion-ish part to them to make you want to have both. But I like tile placement. This is like card placement as you're building up your environment, and I like those sort of games. Nice and quick, 30 minutes. That's a good playtime for me. 2 to 5 players, so a decent range. I'm intrigued by both of these. I'd probably pick one rather than both, but interesting nonetheless. Magic Bean Games is going to be at 5E410, and this is Silla, The Smile of 1,000 Years. This looks to me massively like Tang Gardens, a game I really do enjoy. Just take a look at this. how stunning does that little board look? As you are growing up these areas, putting these like pagodas and trees down, as you're placing out these different sort of tiles to continue the illustration. I absolutely love games that look like this. I really do. So it looks like, if we go back, you end up taking these tiles to get the resources that you can then turn in to do different things, or add tiles. So like here, we can have a look. You can see we've added this. Someone's added this tile, and there's got a tree icon on it. So they've been able to put one of their trees down. This one has like a little shrine icon. Once this big building here has been finished, someone has put a building down. Tile placement, awesome theme, awesome look. I think this was really cool. Like I say, I've got Tang Gardens, the big box version, in my collection. Do I need this? Probably not. Do I want to play it still? Yes, I do. Massive asterisks are going to be showing off I Made You A Mixtape. This is going to be at All Play 5L415. It's from Mike Delisio and Dan Hughes, having been able to do top 5 lists with them and talk with them before about various games. I'm interested just by the people that made this, but I also played it a long time ago when it was in production. But this is a I split you choose, I cut you choose, however you want to call it, style game. I really enjoy those style games because it gives you really irritating choices. The idea of, oh, I've got all these good things, but I have to split them in a way that you're going to take not what I want. This one's got an interesting quirk, is that you're trying to balance these things. So like this person is obviously, they really would like a couple more of these blue cards on the right, because that will balance their tracks. A nice interesting one, cool theme as well with the sort of the music. Yeah. Mighty Boards is going to be at 3K315. They are showing off Pinched. This is an interesting one. So it's got set collection, but let me just read you this part, because this is, I mean, there's very few pictures. We can have a look at like the back of the box here. So you're basically, one player is going to be pinching stuff. And you're trying to like get away with it. So let's read this, because this is what sold it to me. As the wealthy flaunt their valuables with their infinite money and privilege, the less fortunate of us have to scheme how to skimp a bit off the top. Each turn, one player will become the burglar, or each turn a burglar will become the mastermind. They will plan their heist, and then the other players have to try and work out where the break-in will be, elements of it to effectively stop them. So you try and get out, have the most valuables, and yeah, the more you steal, the better. But you know, other people can trip you up. I don't think necessarily, therefore, this one will be fantastic at 2 players. I'm assuming there might even be a rules tweak, because it seems like you'd need a few players guessing what you're doing to be good, but I would happily be proved wrong. Mojito Studios is going to be at location 4G500, and there is one reason and one reason only that this one is on the list, because if we have a look, there are, you know, some cool looking pictures, but this right here, this is the reason this is on the list. Phil Walker Harding has made some fantastic games. Some I think are good, others are great. Bar and Park, for example, is a fantastic game, and I often like his designs. It will always be a sort of solid game when he's designed it, but you're going to pick a spot on the beach, move up it, harvest certain fruit, and then slowly build out your own island, which means, you know, you see this sort of board in the middle, you will go to somewhere, go across it, grab something from it, and then be able to utilize those to build out your own board. And well, you know what, I think that looks quite nice. The tokens look quite cool, and again, you've got different scoring opportunities from those tiles that you're building. Earlier I mentioned that NerdLab were doing the Mindbug with King of Tokyo game, and they are going to be showing it off at location 1F311. If you don't know, Mindbug is a two-player, a great little quick two-player game where you use one deck of cards, you shuffle it up and then deal so many cards to each player. You've got some more cards as just life, and then you've got these Mindbugs. On your opponent's turn, when they play a card, you can choose to Mindbug it, but you've only got like 2 for the entire game. Mindbugging it takes it from them. So you had that cool thing. Now it's mine. So maybe someone plays the Mecha Godzilla thing, giant or Mecha King Kong, and you go, yeah, that's got a cool ability. It's really strong. I'm going to Mindbug it, and now it's mine. So you have to really time when you play your cards, and hopefully they Mindbug the ones that aren't your best, or do they hold out too long and then you've only got bad ones in your hand left. Just a really quick 2-player card game, and the fact they've got like the King of Tokyo branding, I think is going to certainly draw more eyes to this already popular game. It's had like 3 different releases, I think, since the original, so it's still going strong. Office Dog are going to be showing off at 7C111 the Two Towers trick-taking card game. Really enjoyed the first one. As sort of it goes, I put it well up there with like The Crew as a fantastic cooperative trick taker that you are definitely not going to win every time you play. I actually really even enjoyed the first one at 2 players, which most of the cooperative trick takers at 2 fall down on. But each of the different characters have different win conditions and different sort of setup things, like, oh, you need to swap a card with this player, that sort of thing. And yeah, I've enjoyed the Fellowship of the Ring one. Still got some games of that to go. But I'm glad they've gone on and done the Two Towers. So I would be very surprised if we don't see a third one in a year or so. But I would like to try this one at the convention. Oink Games is another one that has some fun games at it, and at location 6C310 they're going to be showing off this one, which is Pack and Pickers. This is one of the smallest, quirkiest games on the list, and that is because you are literally with your opponent, with your teammate, sorry, actually doing deliveries to different locations by only holding onto it with like a finger. That's like the entire game. Yep, you are trying to air drone in items onto different locations, so you are literally doing deliveries as if you were a drone, pick up and delivering. Come on. You look at this, you already know if you want to play it or not, and I saw this picture and thought, I need to play it and probably need to own it as well. Pegasus Spiel are going to be showing off some cool games, so we're going to go for the light one first. I've really enjoyed Dorf Romantic, my plays of the original, the Sakura one, which I played and reviewed on the channel most recently, and Light Luggage is, from what I can tell, just a really small box version of it that can actually even be an expansion for the original game. What's more to say? It's a cool tile placement system. It doesn't show you much in here, so let's have a look quickly. In case you don't know what Dorf Romantic is, basically you're going to be playing out a grid of quite cool looking tiles, and you are trying to grow out the rivers, grow out like these village areas or woodland areas, and as we can see here, like they've got these little like speech bubbles, and what that means is when you play them out, you take from a pile and put it onto that. So this would be need a green one, so you take the top green token, put it on there, and it's going to tell you this forest needs to be a size of 6 or 4 or whatever, and you do that, you can complete it, and you're trying to complete as many of these little sort of challenges as you work out and grow this puzzle. I really enjoyed the Sakura one because you sort of unlock more challenges and stuff as you go through it. Don't 100% know if that's going to be the same in this Light Luggage one, because it is clearly aiming to be sort of a smaller, more portable one, an easy introduction to the sort of series. The other game that is interesting is clearly a heavier game, And this is on here for a couple of things. So it's got down here, it's got the end of game bonuses, it's got action points, so you're utilising so many on a turn to do so many different things. And it just looks interesting the way the board is set up, and you're clearly doing so many different actions or spending so many action points to do different actions to gain resources and move around this circular board. It's certainly trying to stand out, and hopefully it's going to be standing out for all the right reasons. You've got these different cards that sort of sit around the edges that are giving you the tokens, different types of victory points, and from the looks of things, some ongoing coins, that sort of thing. Don't know too much about this one. It's certainly one of the heaviest, probably, I'm assuming at least, it's not got a rating, but it definitely looks like one of the heavier games on the list. And now and again, you just kind of want to play something a bit chunkier. Platey, we've already sort of said a couple of the games that are going to be at their location, but they are themselves going to have this one at 6D310, Orapa Space. I have rather enjoyed the first one. I've called it Opera, didn't I? Orapa Space, Orapa Mine was the original. I've enjoyed that one. It's kind of like a modern day battleships. So the original one has like these shapes, and you'd sort of say 3, and you'd come in and it would bounce off and it would go to 15, and you'd say, ah yes, we shone a laser in and it was white. Whereas if you shone it in here, it would hit the yellow one, then onto the red one and bounce off, and you'd maybe say it bounced off here and it was hit yellow and red. It was an orange colour. It's just quirky. I don't really understand how this one's going to work with not spherical, but circular objects, because that's not going to be as obvious, like the direction it's bouncing, because they were sort of triangle or right angled shapes in the original. But I enjoyed that, and this one's space themed. Post Curious are going to be at 5J415, and they're going to be showing off Ministry of Lost Things case number 1. So this is, again, I've had a few of these on the list. This is a cooperative deduction-y sort of puzzle that you're going through. So it even calls it a Puzzle Tale series. Like with much of the other ones, I like these sort of escape roomy, adventure-y sort of narrative games. You know, you're utilising these. What a quirky sort of idea. Lost things, and then there's lots of socks, because it's the lint collection. Yeah, obviously I don't want to look too much at some of these components, but I like HMail instead of Gmail. That's quite good. Memos, and obviously you're going to be having to utilise some of those components, and I don't want to look too much at them, to deduce and deduct and get through the puzzles and go through the different hidden envelope stuff that's in the envelopes to work through and advance it. Really like these sort of ones, and again, this is a new one, a new series, so I would be intrigued to give it a go. Here's another pronunciation one. Primigenio at 4G215 is going to be showing off Serial Killer. This has implemented a 1-card game, so quite a high ranking, though not many ratings on the original. And this looks like it's come back with sort of a bit more production, and they've also increased it from 2 to 3 players. I'd probably still look at this as a 2-player game, but it looks like they've, you know, maybe upgraded the components, and you are sort of trying to deduce a little bit where this serial killer is going round, and obviously serial. They've made that sort of reference there. So you're putting these like Fruit Loops out and leaving evidence behind. Just a really cool one, and it looks really small. So one that you could throw in a backpack and play on a train, a plane, in a hotel, that sort of thing, and having some interest along the way. We are slowly but surely getting there. 7 Wonders Dice is going to be at Repos Productions. This is one of the Asmodee stands, 7C111. So let's have a look at that. So I've actually played this one at UK Games Expo, but I would like to play it again to see how I feel about it. It was a good experience. Basically, you're rolling these dice in the box. You take the lid off, and then you can just about see, and I can't really zoom in, unfortunately, because that's the biggest it's going to go. This is 0, this is 1, this is 2, and then there's a 3 over here. So depending on where it ends up in the box is how much that dice would cost to take. And you're taking it for the resources or to do certain science tracks or military tracks. And it's just... It was quite a good way of sort of turning Seven Wonders into a dice game, to be honest. Everyone can use the different dice, so I might be like, I've got no coins, I've got to take something from the 0 cost area. Someone else around the table might be like, well, I've actually got a few coins, but none of the ones I want are in the expensive areas, so I'll just save them for later and take this other dice. And there's even more cool dice that you can unlock partway through the game as you're filling in this sheet, which I don't know if I can try and find. That's probably as good as we're going to get. Well, there's lots of people playing it because it's a fun game. So, yep, I've always enjoyed Seven Wonders. And this is a new version of it. There's also the sort of Lord of the Rings spin-off has a new expansion pack coming out. So this has got some new various characters that are going to help one side or the other. You collect power tokens to actually utilise them. It's a micro expansion, so you're not going to get much in this, but that's cool. I don't think every expansion needs to be absolutely massive. You can see it literally comes in a small little like booster pack. I can't read that, otherwise it would be fantastic to know exactly what was in it. But yeah, I liked the game, and a little expansion for it depends how much it is. If it's only a few pounds, I'll probably pick it up and just add it to the game. Sashi and Sashi is another one of those games where they do quirky little twists. Some work, some don't. Well, they all do, but some are more interesting than others. And Shall We Dance, which is going to be at 6C300, I'm hoping it does. So in this, you are doing set collection, and if we have a look at the cards, you can sort of start to see how it works. So you're going to be playing these cards. You're going to be trying to get the man and the woman to... of a matching colour to then they are able to go and do the dance. Shall we dance? So you're trying to do that. You're trying to get these dances out so you can score these points. Don't know much more than that, but sometimes the simple sort of logics turn into quite cool experiences. Salt and Pepper Games are going to be showing off Operation Barclay. Now, this is at 3A400. I got a bit of a look at this at UK Games Expo, and it certainly did seem interesting. It felt to me a bit like a Watergate, where obviously the two players are trying to do something a little bit different because they are, on one side, trying to work out where the Allies are going to storm the beaches, and the other side not to give that sort of information away. If we look at the board, you are slowly starting to sort of uncover or put tiles down onto the different routes that's going to reveal or not reveal that sort of information. You've got powerful cards that you play that have abilities, and again, that gives me that Watergate sort of vibe. And it's all based around the logic of that Operation Barclay, where unfortunately someone had died and they decided to use that body to accidentally send some false information to the shore. A fantastic actual military operation, and a really cool looking game. Like, it does look really nice in real life. Like, the vibrant colours come through, the tiles were nice and chunky. I didn't get to play it, but I do want to sit down and play this one. Sit down, I'm going to be showing off Tolino at 2E120, and this is an interesting one. I've kind of kept this on the list for two quirky reasons. One, I like city building games, and if we have a look at this, it's a city builder, and you've got like these canals in and around, and it looks like you're putting your, unfortunately, just like wooden blocks onto different places. I'm assuming, the higher they go, the better they are, and you're trying to get them in good locations, that sort of city builder goodness. The thing that's making me interested is these slightly odd shaped parts, which is then where you're able, I believe, to put your said buildings, all these upgraded pieces. The other thing that's intriguing me to go and have a look at this one and talk to the people showing it off is got it 24 to 48 minute playtime. I'm assuming they're saying basically every round should take maybe, you know, every round will take 4 to 6 minutes, and therefore, you know, over so many rounds it'll either be 24 or 48 or something. Or every turn will take a minute, and you take, you know, and you take 24 over the course of a game. So if it's 1 minute or 2, it will double the length. But it's an interesting looking game, like visually. I think maybe they could have done something a little bit nicer with the sort of just beige background, but it keeps it certainly very obvious what's going on, where the canals are, where you're moving, because there's boats to move around on the canals, buildings to build, a city builder that's intriguing me. Sky Tier Games is going to be at 3L400, and they're going to be showing off Onward. Now, I am a huge fan of the computer game Dota, Defender of the Ancients 2. This is that as a board game. Now, I played the other one, Guards of Atlantis. I haven't played Guards of Atlantis 2, and that was good, but this one kind of, from what I can see, looks like it's just that little step up from it. I might be completely wrong, but you've got towers that slowly get taken, you've got the creep waves that move in across the 3 different lanes, so you've got the top, the bottom and the middle. You've got things to take in the jungle, that if you go and kill something in the jungle you get a benefit for that. You've got the heroes that level up effectively. I'm, well, kind of very much wanting to see, does this give me a MOBA fix in board game sense, or is it just, well, I'd always go and play Dota to get that fix, and it's a bit too slow or doesn't quite work in a board game sense. I don't know, but I'm intrigued by this. Obviously they've done sort of other games before that are similar. Well, you know, it's got glorious miniatures in. This was probably the Kickstarter edition or Game Found, and I was umming and ahhing about backing it at that point. It was just quite a lot of money, so I'd like to go and see it at the convention. Sorry We Are French, which is still a fantastic name, is going to be at 6K300, and they're going to show off Kodu Berlin 63. What I'm in sort of getting from this is a sort of 2-player 20-minute deduction-y style game. When I say deduction though, I don't mean it in quite the sense that like a social deduction. This seems very much to me like Stratego. It took me a while to think of the name. Where you have sort of on your side a hidden flag, and then units of different numbers that, you know, 2 is lower than a 3, so it would be taken out. And to me it looks like you're doing that, but with different abilities. So like, for instance, Victor Shadow here will switch 2 of your people. Jack Steele, I'm assuming, has that defense, so if you attack that one it's going to take you out, so you wouldn't want to do that. Little interesting things like that as you're moving across this grid, potentially recruiting different ones or just having different ones from one game to the next. And it seems like a really small sort of modern twist on Stratego. Synapsis Games from 2E610 is going to be showing off Compile Main 2. I have not played Main 1, but it certainly had a lot of big shouts for it. So this is one of those like lane battler, hand managey sort of games. So if we can see here, like you're playing these different cards. It's not actually how the game's set up, so that's a really bad example. But you're playing these cards under these different bases, and you can mix and match. I'm assuming that would therefore mean you can mix and match between main 1 and main 2. So you might take all of the chaos cards and all of the ice cards, and that creates the deck for the game. I'm not 100% sure how it works, but you're then playing out to win and sort of control these different locations, screw over your opponent from controlling it, that sort of thing. I've enjoyed lane battlers, some more than another, and Compile Main 1 has definitely had some sort of good publicity about it, so I do want to try that, but I also want to try number 2. SysP Lab, probably completely butchered that, is showing off Planipitta? Sure, why not? This is completely towards the end of the list now, and a really hard one to say. 5k 800 is going to be the location for this one. This is described very clearly here. Crokinole, but made smaller, and also add magnets. For 2 players, you're going to be flicking these discs from a ship onto a main board. And the better or worse you do, you are getting points for it. That seems quick fun. I don't think it seems Crokinole fun, but it also seems a lot smaller. I'm intrigued by this one. A shame I can't pronounce the name of the game or the company, but yeah, the fact that you're flicking discs on from the spaceships onto the planet seems a really sort of quirky idea, and well, Crokinole but smaller. I think quite a few people should be excited by that alone. And last but not least, Treacer or Triceratops are going to be showing off at 3L515 Rewild South America. Now, this is on here for 2 factors. It's got tile placement, set collection, so the mechanics interest me. A decent sort of time length in that as well, I should say. Then comes the artwork of this game. I think it looks vibrant, it looks stunning, and I absolutely also really love this. The fact they show how they got from the sketch through to like the finalised art. But let's try and have a look at a board. Here we go. So you can sort of see you've got this hexagonal grid down here with things that you're going to cover up as you add these tiles to it. You're going to be taking these different cards that obviously give you different, they're all relatively look quite unique. So you're gaining these animals, placing those then animal meeples, Annie meeples down, trees on top, different types of resources. It looks like water and almost looks like a cacao or a lime pod, cacao pod or a lime even. So you're utilising or gaining these resources that's hopefully going to score you points. It just looks quite cool, but I don't know much about it. But I mean, come on, looks pretty cute, right? Surely you want to give it a go as well. But there you have it. That is a short list of 50-ish games that are looking really cool when it comes to Essen Spiel. Over the next couple of weeks, there'll be more added to the list that won't have been included on here, and I'm sure there'll be one of those that ends up coming in my suitcase on the way home, because there always seems to be that last minute thing that's added to the list and you're like, oh, I need that game. But these are, you know, what I'm looking for when it comes to games to play or buy at Spiel. I will look at most of these, and some of them I will buy. But let me know, what have I missed, or what one have I sort of highlighted today that you're like, oh, I didn't know about that. That looks really cool. Let me know in the comments section below. And until next time, have a brilliant time at Essen Spiel.